Assalamualaikum and very good day. So we are into the part 2 from the chapter 4.4 here. Okay, so this is just continuation from the part 1. Basically, it is a general knowledge. If you look into this figure here, which is application of advanced composite materials on Boeing 757 commercial aircraft. So I am not intended to go through into details of every part. You may read it by your own self, but I want just to highlight here, which we have many application of the composite materials that being used. Okay, if you look into here, I highlight on the graphite, which the component that used on the aircraft. So either it is from the flap or the fuselage or on the tails. And then the other parts, which is Kevlar, which is a very strong components here, composite materials. Okay, used in the vest. So this is basically the two things that being used. Right, into the next part, which is for the metal matrix composite. In here, if you look into the figure, so this is the example of the metal matrix composite parts. Okay, so we just go through into the details on the explanation. What is the metal matrix composite? The matrix is a ductile metal. The most common metal in MMC are aluminium, copper, titanium and magnesium. Typical fiber used in the composite system are carbon and silicon carbide, SiC. Okay, metals are mainly reinforced to increase or decrease their properties to suit the needs of the design. So kita boleh increasekan atau rendahkan dia punya properties in terms of maybe strength or the brittleness. Okay, so this is just a example lah. Okay, so on metal matrix composite here, if you look into the advantage and disadvantage, the pro and cons here. So the higher application on the temperature range, higher transfer stiffness, higher electric and thermal conductivities, higher toughness values. Okay, so this is a little bit of advantage on the metal matrix composite. What I do want to highlight in here, which in terms of this one, I make a star here, advantage we go through later on. Okay, so this is just the advantage of the metal matrix composite. Okay, so we go straight into the advantage on the MMC compared to PMC polymer. Okay, so it is non-flammable, tak mudah terbakar lah. Macam biasa kita tahu besi is very difficult to get burn compared to the polymer. So surface temperature also very high compared to PMC, but then there's the advantage dia macam biasalah mahal, and then the application which is very restricted. Right, so example on the MMC, basically we are using extensively on the automotive and aerospace application, which is on the automotive, drive shaft, extruded stabilizer bar, forced suspension, and then to the aerospace, which is boron fibers, and then continuous graphite fibers. So this is from the textbook here. We just screen cap on the application and then properties of the metal matrix composite of the brake calipers here. So ni saya rasa semua orang patut familiar lah untuk kereta brake calipers. Okay, metal matrix composite. Okay, if you look into the table here, table 9.3 on the fiber and the matrix, this is the fibers. Okay, the fiber that will be used, and then the matrix, as I mentioned previously, the normally, which is aluminium, magnesium, copper, titanium. So this is among the typical of the matrix on the metal MMC. Okay, so on to the last part here, which is on the ceramic matrix composite. Contain a ceramic matrix such as alumina and calcium aluminum silicate reinforced by fibers such as carbon and silicon carbide. Sama juga lebih kurang macam metal tadi, dia punya fibers dia. The main objective is to increase the toughness, strength and stiffness of the material. So the other part you may read on yourself, which the reinforcement and then the matrix itself. In here, you may look into the advantage and disadvantage. The advantage here, which is very high application temperature, which is more than 2000 degrees Celsius. Provide advanced heat engine application and then low density chemical inertness. Untuk disadvantage, ni yang paling penting lah untuk ceramik ni, masalah dia adalah brittleness. Okay, dia senang untuk pecah lah. Okay. So dia mechanical shock resistance dia kurang. So dia brittle. Okay, let's say kita bagi sikit pressure je. We put a little bit of pressure and then dia senang untuk break, retak. Okay, so akan ada crack propagation. Right, so this is example of CMC silicon carbide whisker SiC reinforced aluminum oxide. Okay, cutting tool material replacing the metallic carbide cutting tools. And then this is cover composite, which is on the disc brake and then hot press mold. Okay, you may read it by yourself on the table 9.1 here, which is the fibers and the characteristic of the composite materials. On the fiber and matrix, saya dah highlightkan on here. Okay, tak ada apa kot. You all boleh baca on this part sebab nak go through. Nanti you all akan maybe a little bit boring. Right, so this is the composite benefit. If you look into the figure here, kita ada 3, CMC, PMC and the last one, MMC. Okay. Right, untuk PMC, which is the EP here, which is stands for Young Modulus. Okay. On the CMC, if you look into the force and bend displacement diagram here, okay, for the particle reinforced, okay, we have 3 part here, which is particle reinforced, fiber reinforced and then unreinforced. Right, if you look into here, unreinforced dia sangkut dekat tengah on the bend displacement. Okay, and then untuk particle kita boleh bend kan lah, bend dia lagi tinggi. If you look, kita bagi lagi high force, dia akan lagi tahan lah. Okay, dia punya bend. Right, untuk next part, which is for the PMC in terms of Young modulus. If you look into the figure on the PMC, the metals and ceramic give the highest of the Young modulus lah. Okay. Kebiasaannya kalau you all tengok pun kita boleh tahu which is high values of Young modulus akan bagi that's mean the metal of ceramic lah. Okay. The less E, which is for the polymer. Right, so MMC here, which is increase the creep resistance. Okay, apa maksud creep tu? Creep adalah tendency of the solid materials, okay, type lah slow sikit, to deform permanently. Okay, so this is the definition of the creep resistance. So dia tahan sikit lah, dia tahan daripada material tu untuk deform permanently. So bila kita jadikan dia metal composite, dia akan menahan diri daripada tendensi untuk deform permanently. Alright, into next slide, which is on the summary on the composite. So the matrix here for the CMC, MMC and PMC, the reinforcement geometry on the particle, fiber and layers. On the MMC, which we will enhance the stress and then the tensile stress, creep performance. Enhance the K for the CMC. Okay, and then for the PMC, which is enhance the Young modulus, stress and then tensile strength and then the creep performance. Okay, yang ni boleh baca senang cerita, yang ni kita revise balik lah. Okay, from the previous class that we have been go through. Alright, so this is an exercise here. If you look into this question, what is composite materials, name to classification, and then explain the role of the reinforcement in the composite materials. So benda ni just general knowledge, you may refer on the slides here. Okay, so cuma saya nak tekankan dekat sini, which is the question number 2. So I'm particularly requested you to make a table lah. Okay, macam biasa. So will make me more easier to mark your answers. Okay, that's it. This is the summary. on the classification of engineering materials. Okay, on the metal, polymer, ceramic, and then we have another part which is composite. So the quiz 4, so I already upload into the island. So the due date which is on this Sunday. Okay, hari Ahad ni kita habis deadline untuk quiz 4. Lepas tu hari Isnin kita terus ke final assessment. Okay, so nanti kita dah habis dah kita punya study. Okay, so final test ni kita bagi lebih kurang dalam 8 jam lah untuk you all answer. So you all akan kena submit by the same day. Okay, good luck and then thank you very much for this whole semester. Thank you.